1923. A rented room in Chicago, 6 in the morning, and the radiator is cold. A woman stands at a porcelain washstand in her slip. She wrings a cloth over a chipped basin. No shower, no faucet. A bar of cashmere bouquet soap, a tin of rice powder, a glass bottle of rose water she mixed herself on Sunday. She has not taken a full bath since Saturday, and her skin has never been clearer. These are 17 hygiene rituals of 1920s women that would stun a modern bathroom. Most of them worked better than anything on the shelf today, and nearly everyone was erased on purpose. Number 17. The armpit shaming campaign. Before 1915, no American woman shaved her underarms. It was not considered necessary. It was not considered at all. Then the razor industry looked at a sleeveless dress and saw a market. May of 1915. A full-page ad in Harper's Bazaar for the Gillette Milady Decollete razor, $1.50. The copy called underarm hair objectionable, an ugly personal failing. Within 5 years, sleeveless fashion and razor advertising had merged into a single campaign. Depilatory creams like Ex-Bazin burned the skin. Pumice stones scraped it raw. The redness, the ingrown hairs, the ritual of pain, accepted because a magazine ad said the alternative was social death. The hair removal industry is now worth over $4 billion a year. It started with one ad in a fashion magazine. She believed it. Her granddaughter still does. She was being told her body was wrong, but the campaign against her did not stop at her arms. It went after her breath next. Number 16. Listerine and the invention of halitosis. Listerine was a surgical antiseptic. It was used to clean operating rooms and mop floors. In 1921, the Lambert Pharmaceutical Company decided to sell it as a mouthwash by inventing a disease, the word halitosis, pulled from an obscure Latin term no doctor had ever used in conversation. The ads ran in every major magazine. Even your best friend will not tell you. Women losing suitors whispered about at parties, growing old alone because of their breath. The amber glass bottle, 25 cents. The burn that made your eyes water. Before these ads, bad breath was a passing nuisance. After them, it was a social emergency. Lambert's sales went from $100,000 a year to over $8 million in 7 years. They did not discover a problem. They invented one from scratch. Number 15, the Saturday night bath. Most American homes in the 1920s had no indoor plumbing. A full bath happened once a week, Saturday night, in a galvanized tin tub dragged to the kitchen floor. Water heated on a coal stove and kettles. 3, 4, 5 kettles poured into the tub. Father first, then mother, then the children oldest to youngest, same water cooling with each turn. A bar of Fell's naphtha or ivory soap, 5 cents. The kitchen warm from the stove, steam on the windows. The dignity of bathing behind a hung bedsheet while someone in the next room kept the younger ones occupied. The scrubbing cloth rough against the back of the neck. Hair washed in the same water. The water gray by the last child. The tub emptied bucket by bucket out the back door into the garden. A full bath once a week and a sponge down every morning. They were not dirty. They were efficient with what they had. And dermatologists today will tell you their skin was healthier for it. 1 bath a week. But between those Saturday nights, she had a system that started before dawn with a basin and cold water. Number 14. The daily sponge bath at the washstand. Every morning, women stood at a washstand and cleaned their body with a wrung cloth dipped in cold water. This was not a shortcut. This was the standard, a white porcelain pitcher and basin, a thin cotton washcloth, ivory soap at 5 cents a bar, face, neck, underarms, hands, feet. Every crease, every joint. The shock of cold water on bare skin in January. The goose flesh on her arms. 5 minutes from start to finish. The cloth wrung out and draped over the basin rim to dry. She was fully clean before anyone else in the house was awake. She called it a wash-up. She did it standing in her slip in a cold room with the door shut. It was not primitive. It was discipline. And her skin never once saw the inside of a plastic bottle. Number 13. Rice powder instead of foundation. Visible makeup was considered vulgar for respectable women through much of the decade. Instead of foundation, she dusted her face with plain rice powder and left the house. Loose white rice powder in a cardboard box. Tetlo's Gossamer or La Blanche face powder, 10 to 25 cents, applied with a cotton puff or a small square of chamois. The faint starchy smell. A matte finish that absorbed oil all day, without caking. No tint, no pigment, no shade matching. Just a thin veil that softened the complexion. The compact had not yet been mass-produced. She kept the powder on the bureau and carried none with her. She did not contour, she did not highlight. She dusted her face with rice and walked out looking like herself, only quieter. Her face was handled, but what she did with her hands was just as deliberate. Number 12. Rosewater and glycerin. Women mixed rosewater and glycerin in equal parts at home and used it as hand lotion. It was the standard for working hands. Rosewater from the pharmacy, 10 cents a bottle. Glycerin, 15 cents. Mixed in a small glass bottle and shaken before each use. The faint rose scent on her wrists and knuckles. She rubbed it in after washing the breakfast dishes, after hanging laundry in the cold. Hands that scrubbed shirts on a washboard and kneaded bread dough kept soft by a recipe that took 30 seconds to make. The glass bottle sat on the windowsill above the sink, where she could reach it without thinking. That same formula is sold today by luxury brands at $12 an ounce. She made it for a nickel. Number 11. The borax hand and nail soak. Women soak their hands in warm water with dissolved borax to whiten their nails and soften the cuticles. No salon, no appointment. A box of laundry booster and 10 minutes at the kitchen table. 20 Mule Team Borax, 15 cents a box. 1 tablespoon dissolved in a basin of warm water. Hands submerged while she read the newspaper or waited for the bread to rise. The slippery feel of the alkaline water. Nails came out white and smooth. Cuticles pushed back with an orange stick from the 5 and 10. A full manicure for less than a penny. The average salon manicure now costs $25. She did the same thing with a box from the laundry shelf and never left the kitchen. Number 10. Peroxide tooth brightening. Women dipped a clean cloth in diluted hydrogen peroxide and rubbed it across their teeth to whiten them. Once a week, sometimes twice. It was drugstore advice, passed along like a recipe. Hydrogen peroxide from the pharmacy, 10 cents a bottle. A corner of clean cotton dipped and rubbed firmly across each tooth. The fizzing on the gums. The sharp taste of nothing, just clean. The same active ingredient now sealed inside whitening strips that sell for $40 a box. She spent a dime and a clean rag, 10 cents for white teeth. But what she paid to manage her monthly cycle was a different kind entirely. Every one of these rituals happened in private, at a washstand, at a kitchen table, behind a hung sheet. No tutorial, no audience, no mirror selfie. Hygiene in the 1920s was handled before dawn and never discussed. That silence was not shame. It was the architecture of dignity. Number 9. Kotex and the silent purchase. Kotex introduced the first disposable sanitary napkin in 1921. The material was cellulose-cotton, developed for surgical bandages in World War I field hospitals. Battlefield technology repurposed for a kitchen drawer. Kimberly-Clark's Kotex, 60 cents a box of 12, sold behind the pharmacy counter. Many women could not bring themselves to ask for it by name, so drugstores placed boxes on the counter beside a coin dish. You left your money and took the box without eye contact. Before Kotex, women folded cotton rags, washed them by hand, dried them out of sight. The pins, the belts, the bulk under a cotton dress in August. The most revolutionary hygiene product of the decade sold in total silence. Women were trained to never say its name. Number 8. Cold Cream Cleansing. Pond's Cold Cream was the standard face cleanser. She applied it thick, let it sit, and wiped it off with a cloth. No water, no foam, no rinse. Pond's in the white jar, 35 cents. A thick white paste with a faintly medicinal smell. Scooped with 2 fingers, spread in slow circles across the forehead, the cheeks, the chin. The way it dissolved powder and city grime into a gray slick on the cloth. Used morning and night. 1 jar lasted a month. The oil cleansing method that went viral online around 2015 was sitting on her vanity in 1923. She cleaned her face with cold cream and left it glowing. But what she put near her eyes would make a modern woman flinch. Number 7. Boric acid eye wash. Women dissolved boric acid powder in boiled water, cooled it, and used a glass eye cup to rinse their eyes. Standard hygiene recommended by family physicians. Boric acid powder from the pharmacy, 10 cents a tin. A pinch dissolved in warm water that had been boiled and cooled. The glass eye cup pressed against the socket, head tipped back. The cool sting of the solution washing across the eye. Used for redness, dust irritation, tired eyes after a day over a sewing machine. She washed her eyes the way she washed her hands, casually, without fear, with a product that now carries warning labels in bold red print. Number 6. The EGG White Face Mask. Women separated an egg white, beat it until it was stiff, and spread it across their face. They sat perfectly still while it dried and pulled the skin tight. 1 egg from the icebox. The white separated into a teacup and beaten with a fork until frothy. Spread across the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. The slow tightening as it dried, the skin pulling inward like a drum. 20 minutes of stillness, rinsed with cool water. Skin underneath firm, smooth, pores nearly invisible. Egg whites contain albumin, the same protein now sold in serum form for $35 a bottle. Her version cost 3 cents and came in a shell. But the strangest product on her shelf was not homemade. It came in a little tin from the drugstore, and what it contained would horrify you. Number 5. Mercury in skin lightening creams. Freckle removers and skin lighteners sold openly in the 1920s contained mercury, lead, and arsenic compounds. Women applied them to their faces every night before bed. Stillman's Freckle Cream, Dr. Berry's Freckle Ointment, 50 cents a tin, applied generously at bedtime. The active ingredient was ammoniated mercury. Some contained lead carbonate. They worked. The freckles faded, then the skin thinned, then the tremors started. Gum erosion, kidney damage, nerve deterioration. These products were legal, advertised in women's magazines, and sold by smiling pharmacists. She trusted the label because a man in a white coat stood behind the counter. The freckles disappeared. So did her health. This is the part of the story nobody tells. These women were not ignorant. They were lied to. The same companies selling poison were running advertisements declaring their natural skin unacceptable. The freckle was not the problem. The industry that declared war on the freckle was the problem. Every ritual on this list sits between genuine wisdom and manufactured need. Knowing which is which was the real lost skill. Number 4. Lemon juice for freckles. Women rubbed fresh lemon juice on their skin to lighten freckles and even the complexion naturally. Some used buttermilk instead. Both worked slowly and gently. Half a lemon, 2 cents, rubbed directly across the nose and cheeks before bed. The sting on dry skin in winter. The way the juice dried tight against the face on the pillowcase. Buttermilk dabbed on with a cloth as an alternative, the lactic acid doing the same work gently. The citrus smell still faint in the morning. Repeated nightly for weeks. Gradual, subtle, and real. The natural version of what the mercury tin promised. It took longer, it did less, but it took nothing from her. Number 3. Camphor ice for lips. Women carried small flat tins of camphor ice in their pockets and aprons as lip balm. It was the only lip product considered respectable for everyday use. Mentholatum camphor ice, 10 cents a tin. The waxy texture under the fingertip, the sharp menthol smell that hit the back of the throat. Lips protected from wind, wood stove heat, January cold. The soft click of the tin lid closing, kept in an apron pocket during the day, on the nightstand after dark. No color, no gloss, no shimmer. She did not decorate her mouth. She maintained it. She maintained her lips and said nothing about it. But the product that changed the most about her daily life was one she could barely bring herself to buy. The company that sold it had to shame her into using it. Number 2. Odorono and the deodorant shame campaign. Odorono was the first underarm deodorant marketed to women. A liquid containing aluminum chloride that burned the skin, stained clothing, and could only be sold through humiliation. A small glass bottle, 35 cents, applied with a cloth under each arm. The aluminum chloride in acid solution ate through fabric and left welts on the skin. But it stopped perspiration. The 1919 ad in the Ladies' Home Journal told women that people were secretly talking about their underarm odor. 200 readers canceled their subscriptions. Sales rose 800% in 1 year. A product that injured the skin and destroyed blouses, sold by telling a woman she was offensive. She was not. The modern deodorant industry, now worth over $20 billion globally, grew from that single page in a magazine. Number 1. Lysol as feminine hygiene. Lysol, the household disinfectant, was marketed directly to American women throughout the 1920s and 30s as a feminine hygiene product. It was the best-selling douche in America for 3 decades. Full strength or diluted in warm water. The ads ran in every major women's magazine month after month. They never used the word contraception, but the language was unmistakable. Feminine freshness, married happiness, intimate neglect. Illustrations of worried wives and disappointed husbands. The burning, the chemical smell, the tissue damage endured in silence. Doctors reported injuries quietly. Lane and Fink, the manufacturer, kept running the ads. Between 1930 and 1940, at least 193 Lysol poisoning cases appeared in medical journals. 21 women died. A floor cleaner sold to women as marital insurance. She used it because the ad said her husband would leave if she did not. She burned from the inside and called it Hygiene. No ad was retracted. They just kept selling. Some of these rituals were wisdom. A woman mixing rose water on Sunday, washing at a basin before dawn, dusting her face with rice and walking out the door. That was knowledge passed hand to hand without a label or a price tag. And some of them were poison in a pretty tin, sold by a man who never had to use it. The difference was never printed on the label. She had to figure it out alone.